want to thank this man for all he has done. This trip, I'll tell you what, anytime you're doing any sort of trip, those of you that have done family vacations, you completely understand what it's like if you're taking maybe 4 or 5 people. But to take 110 is completely different, and it is really, really difficult. And I have really leaned on Mr. Newgard, and he has spent hours and hours working on this along my side, putting everything together. Couldn't have done it without, you wouldn't be going without him, I'll tell you that. I wouldn't be able to do it. So thank you, Mr. Newgard.
No problem.
There you go.
All right, so we're going to start by going through the packet, everyone. So we'll go through it, and I'll kind of point to what page it is, go through everything. Hopefully, if you have any questions, just save them to the end. Hopefully, we'll answer them throughout as we go. But just the trip by numbers, it's 1,141 miles. We have 96 students going, 8 chaperones, 2 teachers, and 2 staff members. And then we'll also then meet our we'll have someone that travels with us. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to it. But a lot of you haven't even had an opportunity to look at the itinerary. On the 3rd page, if you look, we have the itinerary. And this is for March 27th through the 31st. We popped this on there. We have 2 mandatory practices. One will take place on March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. Another one on March 24th. It's really important that all the students are there. Disney has a lot of rules when it comes to uniforms, how many people are in each row. There's a whole packet of rules to March at Disney. So it's really important that they are there so we can practice and make sure we're all good for that. And then on Wednesday, the following day after our second rehearsal, we're going to go ahead and do our instrument and luggage drop-off. So we're going to drop off all the luggage. We'll go over the specifics of that a little bit, but all of that's driven down in the trailer, so we don't have to mess with it with the airplane. Also, all the instruments, all the uniforms, flags, all that's going to get on the trailer and get moved down, so we don't have to do it and mess with it on the airplane. And then on Friday is the day we actually leave, and yes, that time is correct. It is 12 a.m. is when we are going to load the bus. So our flight just happened to be at 5:35 in the morning, and it's a great flight. The nice thing is we get to enjoy the entire day in the park. It's not like a partial day. So that's good, but we'll meet at 12 a.m. We'll go down to St. Louis. We'll have charter buses that'll drive us down there, so hopefully we can catch a little sleep on that. And then we'll take our flight to Orlando, and then we'll go right at to Disney's Epcot. If you looked at the original schedule, we were originally going to go to Animal Kingdom, but Animal Kingdom, they have an area that is Dino Land shut down, Rafiki's area is shut down, and a couple other rides are shut down for refurbishment, so we opted to go to Epcot. They also have longer hours, so Animal Kingdom was shut down earlier. So we opted to go to Epcot from the original schedule, and we'll spend the day there, and then we'll get to our hotel at 10 p.m. So it'll be a long day, and everyone will sleep great. And then on Saturday is the day we'll perform, March 28th. We're going to go to Magic Kingdom, and then we will then go backstage at 2:30, and we'll put on our uniforms, get our instruments out, get ready to go, and then we'll march out. There's a paper towards the back that has our parade route. It starts in Tomorrowland, goes in front of the castle, then down Main Street, and then back out. And then we'll go backstage again, take off our uniforms, put away all our instruments, and then we'll be able to re-enter at 5 o'clock, and then we spend the rest of the day at Magic Kingdom. So we have most of the day there. Then on Sunday, March 29th, we just have the whole day at Hollywood Studios. That'll be a lot of fun. And then Monday, we're going to go to Universal Studios. And just so it's clear, because it's kind of confusing, there's 3 parks at Universal Studios. There's Universal Studios, there's Island of Adventure, and there's a new park called Epic. And the way the tickets work, you have to have a special ticket to Epic. They just changed some of it. It's all that kind of stuff. But just to be clear, our tickets are to Universal Studios and Island of Adventure. They're right next to each other, and then when you take the Hogwarts Express between the two Harry Potter areas, you can walk between it or you can take the train. So that's what we'll go to on Monday, March 30th. And then the 31st, we'll check out the hotel. We'll head down to Disney Springs. They have shopping and restaurants, all kind of stuff there. And then we will catch our flight at 6:25, and we'll come back to East Peoria. And then our luggage won't come till Wednesday. That'll be driven up, and then we'll do our pickup for our luggage here at the school. So that's the itinerary of what we have for our trip. It's gonna be a lot of fun. If you go back to the original schedule, there's just some things to show you. So Bob Rogers has an app. It's called Moments That Matter. And when you go into it, you can download it. It's nice to have. We'll have some of the information, like if you want to look at the schedule, that'll be uploaded on it. But also we can message to it, you can upload pictures, and then they put it together into a collage of everything to make a video. It's really cool. But if you go and download that, the username is Schneblin, and then that's the password. Is that FFFU7I. So when you go to do that, you enter that in. Also highly recommend downloading the My Disney Experience and Universal Orlando Resorts app. Both those, if you've never been, it has the map on it. You can order food on it. You can also look at wait times at all of the different rides. So great apps to have if you don't have those downloaded yet. Now, when you're ready to go, let's talk a little bit about what you need to bring. So on the next page, it's like the fourth page, we have just a real rough packing checklist. A real rough one is what we have. The things you want to make sure you have is your uniform and instrument. We'll check that all in. A medium-sized bag. We're going to try to fit all the bags, all this stuff on our trailer, so it's make sure don't get a really big one. And then the day we're actually leaving, you get one personal item, and that size for the airplane is 7 by 15 by 16. So that's the size of your personal item. And think about where you pack your contact lenses, glasses, all that kind of stuff. Now, something else we need to talk about, it's really important that everybody has their ID with them. If you are under the age of 18, a school-issued student ID works fine to get on the airplane. But if you're over 18, you need to have one of the Illinois real estate IDs or a driver's license. That also includes if you are chaperoning. So the students and chaperones over the age of 18, that's required through TSA. It has a little star in the corner. So you may want to double check and make sure you've got that. So that's something you want to make sure you have. We'll actually check when people are getting on the bus, make sure that everybody has those. When it comes to medication, please bring it in the original bottle, and we leave some of this up to the parents. If your child is used to taking their own medicine, go on ahead. They can keep doing that if you're comfortable with it. If you feel more comfortable with one of the chaperones handing that out at a specific time, we can do that also. So if there's a medication that you want, bring it in a plastic bag and give it to us the day we leave. If they want to hold on to it, they can just hold on to it and they can take it as they need. So please, we'll go over a form for that, and please just write that down when we get there. As for food, there'll be a breakfast at the buffet, a buffet breakfast, which is nice. And then also each student will receive a JASB card. I didn't know what this was, but our travel agent told us this is a good option. In the past, we've done food cards specific to Disney or to Universal. The bad part is let's say it's a $25 card, you spend 20 of it, you have $5 you just wasted, pretty much. This is a credit card, essentially. So it's a credit card that can be used anywhere. You can use it after the trip, and we will load $25 each day. We won't load the full amount in one day because we don't want them to blow through all their money, but load a little bit, $25 each day that we are going to the park. Also, something to keep in mind is souvenirs. You may want to talk to your child about, how much they want to spend. And it's very important that you can fit on the plane for a ride home. Very important thing to keep in mind. Don't get a super huge lightsaber that doesn't fit on the plane. So kind of keep that in mind. And just talk to your child about some of the money stuff. The nice thing is you can look up how much the food costs. You can look at the My Disney Experience app or Universal app, and you can see how much all that kind of stuff costs. So some things to talk about. Now, when it comes to loading and leaving East Peoria, at the bottom of the packing list, also I have it written on the front page, we're going to do it by instrument. So rather than having everyone show up at the same time, we're going to check people off. So it'll start at 5 o'clock, we'll have the brass show up, then 5:30 to 6 we'll have the woodwinds, and then percussion and color guard will be 6 to 6:30. So come during that time slot and we'll check you off, make sure you got everything you need, and then we'll load all that stuff. And then the day we'll leave make sure you just show up at 12 o'clock in the morning. You don't have to show up early, don't have to show up late. Should be good. All right, let me keep going. So on the trip, if you take a look on, I think it's the 5th page, we have the rooming list. So you can take a look at the rooming list. And you can also see on the far right, you can see whose chaperone they are. So you can go ahead and look at the chaperone. You can see who they're rooming with, all that kind of stuff. And some things to keep in mind is all the school rules apply. We'll have a code of conduct form we'll have you guys sign. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And be respectful and kind to others, be responsible when you're there. There's zero tolerance for any kind of substance use. And whenever you're out and about, try and stay with some buddies, at least 3. Be a positive representation, when you're out and about. Something related to this is the bus. Whenever we're on the bus, make sure that you're only calling your name for roll call and no dairy products. That's a bus rule. And something kind of weird is that when we're down there, it's not our charter bus the whole time. We'll have different charter buses during that time. That charter bus might drop us off. It probably won't sit in the park. It'll do a completely different run for some other group traveling. So you can't leave stuff on the bus. You gotta take everything off the bus. That bus will probably go somewhere else, do something, and they'll come back and pick us up right beforehand. So you gotta also keep that in mind while we're on the bus, is that it's not just our bus. Other people will probably be using the bus. All right, when it comes to the hotel, be respectful to the guests. The chaperones will be there. They'll do the nightly checks. There's no fitness center or pool use. You can see our schedule. It's packed. We're just pretty much going to show up and sleep when we are there. We're going to wear them out. And do not leave unless you're accompanied by a chaperone. And then I know with pizza or food deliveries, that kind of stuff, it'll be pretty late, but check with your chaperones for that. So you'll talk to the chaperones about all that kind of stuff. Something else we started doing is we hire security to come in, and they'll watch the rooms. So you can't leave the rooms once it's time to go. No going from room to room. We'll have the security guards there. So you cannot do that. Only enter your room. Now, when it comes to returning home, I want to point out there's a form that's on here. It's called, let me pull it up. It's towards the end. It's, let me see. I think it's the last page. It's the student sign out in Disney form. So if you are staying, let's say you are staying with your family and you're staying a couple more days, great. We just need to know that so we know, if you're getting on the bus or not. Then there's 2 opportunities to pick your child up. It's either Monday, March 30th, so at night, or you can pick them up in the morning on Tuesday, March 31st by 8:30 in the morning. That way you grab all the luggage and all that. So if you're one of those people, please fill out that form and get that back to us. So please fill that out if your child is staying in Florida and not coming back with the van. And then we should arrive back at East Peoria Community High School around 11:45 on Tuesday, March 31st. And we'll let you know, you never know with flights. We'll let you know as we get closer. Now I'm going to turn over to Mr. Snubing. He's going to introduce the chaperones to you guys.
Yeah, thanks. And before I do that, just a couple of things I was thinking that I wanted to mention. We have done this trip many times and always had great success. Never had a problem and just really enjoyed this trip. And I expect the exact same thing here from this group as well. I don't foresee any differences. But in full disclosure, I do want to tell you, Mr. Newgard did say no substances, so I don't want drugs or alcohol on the trip. And one of the things that I do is I work with the East Peoria Police Department, and after your luggage drop off, they come through with the K-9 unit. And the K-9 unit will, I want you to know this, and this is the truth, they'll smell all the luggage. In fact, it's really fascinating to watch, to be very honest. It gives me great peace of mind, but, and again, I don't expect anybody to, but they have different, the police department have different drugs in different bags that they have seized from other things in their job description, and they put those in around your luggage. And of course, they know where they are, but the dog doesn't. And it's really neat to watch. The dog hits on those every time. And so it works out great. Not only do I not think that anyone would do that, but it works as a great training exercise for the East Peoria Police Department. So I do want to just mention that the dogs will sniff through those, and you're not allowed to be present when that happens, but trust me, you'll hear from me and them if you need to come back. But they will do that. They will check your bags. And that's the only time that, of course, your luggage would ever be opened. Other than that, that would never happen. So that happens there. And also, and Mr. Newgard mentioned, but the security guard at the hotel is great because no chaperones have to stay up overnight. Nobody has to put tape on the doors. I don't have to stay up overnight. They're there in the hallway, and they're there to keep us all safe. And so it's a wonderful thing to have that as well. So just from a safety standpoint, I guess I first wanted to address that has all been looked after. And also, I just wanted to mention too, Mr. Newgard had mentioned that early start time. The good news that I keep focusing on here is that then that first day, we're in the park all day at Epcot. So we get that full day. If we had left later, we wouldn't get that. But in case you're thinking, gosh, why don't they fly out of Peoria, or why don't they do this, or why don't they go later? We really exhausted every single option, and Peoria wasn't an option. And the local carriers like Allegiant and stuff like that, they usually don't sell you more than 30 tickets maximum. So the first obstacle is when you call somebody and say, I need 110 tickets. And then the second obstacle is getting them on the same flight. So being able to get us all on the same flight, yep, we have to leave early to go out of St. Louis, but we're all on the same plane. And initially, that was not the case. There were multiple planes, and students were split up, and this is a much better option, even though it is a little bit earlier in the morning. So that's how, and by the way, if you're also thinking, well, why doesn't he just charter a plane? Wouldn't that be simpler? I looked. Believe it or not, I called, and the cheapest bid I got. Now, maybe somebody in here would like to, we could redo this itinerary right now. If anybody would like to volunteer to do this, the cheapest bid I got to charter a plane out of Peoria was $3.4 million. So if anybody, hands, no, seeing none, then I guess we'll stick with what we have. But we did look into that. We looked into every option. So I'm sure you're standing there going, I wouldn't have done this. Trust me, we tried. We've looked at everything. So I want to introduce the chaperones. The chaperones are gluttons for punishment. I mean, they're wonderful people, and I'm so happy that they have decided to go along with this. But I want you to see who they are, since you have the list here, and you can see who your chaperones are. That way, this evening, if maybe you're a really heavy sleeper and you want to talk to the chaperone and say, you know what, I want you to make sure to see them every morning, or wake them up, or whatever it is, you'll have that opportunity tonight to do that. First of all, let's have Mr. and Mrs. Wall stand up. Mr. and Mrs. Wall, and give us a big wave. They're right over here in front of me. So if they would happen to be your chaperones, pray for them. And also talk to them if there's anything you would like them to know about your son or daughter. Mr. and Mrs. Elser are also chaperones. I saw them out there. They are back there, Mr. and Mrs. Elser. And the same thing goes for them. How about Mr. and Mrs. Dunaway? Is it Seabird or Seibert? I always say it wrong. Oh, gosh. Oh, shoot. Same thing for them. And I always say this wrong, and every time I think Mr. and Mrs. Ebert. Right? Seabird? Yes! Yes! Mr. and Mrs. Seabird! I always have this internal struggle if it's Seibert or Seabird, but Mr. and Mrs. Seabird are going, and so they're over there if you want to talk to them. And let's see here, that's everybody, I think. Did I get through or did I say the Dunaways already? I can't even remember. Okay, so those are the 8 chaperones that are going. The 2 staff members, by the way, are Andrew Harvey is going, percussion staff member, and don't clap for him, he's not that great. And the other one is Nicole Schneer, who is a color guard instructor. She's not even here, stop sucking up. And then there better be thunderous applause, because the 2 teachers are, of course, Mr. Newgard and myself. Okay. All right, now you're forgiven. Okay, let's look at some of these forms, everybody. And you know what? here is my quick story on the forms that we have to fill out. And many of you might have heard about this that happened 4 years ago. I have been so lucky on these trips not to have any medical emergencies until the last trip. And the last trip 4 years ago, there was a student who, this might sound like a weird thing to do, but honestly, she's just such a tender-hearted person, and she's so kind. We were in the Magic Kingdom, and she saw a bat, like a real bat. And it had fallen out of the bushes and the trees and stuff like that, and she was afraid somebody might step on it, so she walked over and picked it up to put it back up in the tree. Well, sure enough, she was bit by the bat. And so next thing I knew, police and fire department were there, and long story short, everything worked out fine. If you don't know, I found out so much about bats and rabies, but if you don't know, rabies is 99% fatal if you have rabies, but it's 100% preventable. It's 100% preventable with the right medication. So there we were. I was in the back of the ambulance with her. I had her mom on the phone who was freaking out, as you can imagine. But before I was allowed on the ambulance and everything, the police said, who has custody over this minor and is able to make decisions. And it was these exact forms. I took these forms out, and they looked at these and they said, perfect, get in the ambulance, let's go. And went to a children's hospital, and everything worked out beautifully. Everything worked out fine. And it's really because of these. So please, and at the time, Mom was in such shock. You know, she couldn't really articulate the medications, and she was crying, and all I had to do, the doctors and nurses are, you know how it is. Everyone who comes in the room asks what medication you're on. I just kept handing them this piece of paper, and they're like, oh, great, okay, thanks, perfect. It worked exactly like it should. Everything was smooth, and that's why this is so important. So whether your child carries their medications, whether you would like their chaperone to help remind them when to take it, I don't care. You know what's best. You're their parent or their guardian. You know what's best, and I don't want to micromanage. It's just important that you put down details on here so that, God forbid, I'm going to the hospital again, it works like it did last time. Because bottom line, it was seamless, and everything worked out, and she made a full recovery, and there were no problems. And the chaperones then were wonderful, and Mr. Newgard, they just sprung into action and got everybody out of the park, because it was at the very end of the night, and it was really chaotic, and they got everybody out without incident, and it worked out great. So these medical forms, guys, it's self-explanatory. And you fill these out with everything that it asks, and especially any medications or allergies. I will mention here at the bottom of this first page with the parent signature, it's kind of hard to see, but up above it does say, if you could just circle yes or no, if you're giving me permission to give them something over the counter, such as an Advil or a Tylenol, or maybe Tums or a cough drop or something like that. We are really close to a Walgreens, and if somebody's just not feeling well and needs a cough drop or something like that, you're just giving me permission. Or if you don't feel comfortable, just circle no, and I won't do that. But that's what that is. The emergency medical consent is the next form. I don't think I have these out of order, but I might. The emergency medical consent, it says at the top, and that's exactly what it says, and this is the one, like I said, that really was able to allow me to go to the hospital and do what needed to be done. And then on the next one, there is just a student conduct on the trip. And I might have gotten that one out of order. There might be, hold harmless. Yeah, this one just basically says that you're not going to, that the school employees and the school are going to do everything in our power to do what is best for your son or daughter, and you're not going to sue us. And then you sign that at the bottom. That's a deal breaker. And this next one is the code of conduct, which again just says you're not going to try and sneak out of your room or climb out of your hotel window or do anything else that would be completely inappropriate or bizarre. And not only does a parent sign this one, but you notice there at the bottom, all students, regardless of your age, 18 or younger, I don't care, I want you to sign that one too. So that's one that all of the students and parents need to.
If we have to send you home.
Yes, that is true. If the unlikely event that we would have to send you home, it does say that you are financially responsible for doing that too. You could buy another airline ticket. So those are those forms that I kind of went through there.
Insurance card.
They're also, yes, also up in the very front, it kind of gives you a checkoff list here. There was number 5. It said, please attach front and back of your insurance card. That was another thing that was really handy. And again, as long as I have it, I won't need it. But that was a handy thing to have. And you know what? I think the easiest thing to do would be if you would just use your phone, take a picture of your insurance card, the front and the back, and if you would email it to the email address, please not my school one, because I use that one all throughout the day for work-related things. But if you would please send that to the one that I send the Sunday emails to, the epchsmusic@gmail.com. If you would just send it to that, and I don't even think I'll need to print them. In the unlikely event I would need it, they'd be right there, and I would access it from that email account. But again, if you would send it not to the A. Schnublin at EP309, but instead the epchsmusic@gmail.com, and then I'll just have all those insurance cards front and back right there in the unlikely event that I would need any of those. So those are all of the major highlights. This is a great trip, really looking forward to it, and we've done this before, and it's always been very, very memorable. Another way I would say to the students, and I think some of you have already been doing this, but all the students going, not the parents, you don't want me sending you reminders to wake up and stuff, but I will be sending reminders of when to catch the bus and when to wake up and all those things. And I'll be using the Remind text service to do that, and there's instructions there how to do that. That's for the students, and it's at EP Florida. We already have at EP Bands, and we have at EP Winds and Guard and stuff like that, but this one is at EP Florida. So sign up for this, and that way, as we're moving around, or if the buses stop and I say, oh, this is just a quick break for you to run in and grab something to eat, I'll just be texting information like that out so that everybody gets that in a timely manner. So that's how I'll use that. And just because I'm kind of interested, I'm certainly not going to hold you to this, but Mr. Newgard already mentioned this sign-out form for the families who would like to remain in Florida and continue on with their vacation after we leave. I just kind of was like, or I would just like to see a show of hands about how many people are doing that. I'm not going to hold you to it. I just kind of wanted to have an idea. Yeah, every time okay, cool, that's great. Every time we've gone, we've had families who've said, you know what, we're gonna then just join them and meet them and go on after that. So absolutely, you can do that, and just let us know what time works best for you to meet and pick them up, and that's great. What am I forgetting? Any questions that anybody has about anything at all? It's late and you wanna go home. Yes? Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Before everybody leaves tonight, I just want to remind you that our next band board meeting, I'm Jen Dunaway, I'm president of the band board, Band Boosters, and our next meeting is March 16th in the band room at 6:30 p.m. and we are looking for new officers. So we have 4 positions: president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. So if that's something you might be interested in, you can ask Mr. Stublin, you can come up and talk with me, but we'd love to have you there.
Thank you. And I saw a quick question. Yes. So no, what'll happen is their luggage is going to, oh, you mean what they have on the plane? Yes, they probably will. Yeah, we won't get to the hotel that evening and get their luggage. That's a good point. Anything you take on the plane, like your backpack, I like to have, like a toothbrush and some toothpaste, stuff like that. Anything you have there with you, you will need that. Yeah, I don't have any place to put that in the park, so you'll want to carry that with you throughout the park. But they'll allow that. Yeah, that's a good question. Others?
What's the busing going to be based on?
The busing is there are 2 buses, and we are maxed. We have every seat filled on both of the charters that we are taking, and it's by chaperone. It worked out perfectly that we said these chaperones are on this bus, these chaperones and their students are on this bus, and so I don't have that at my fingertips, but that's how it worked out. So you can choose your friends on the bus and sit by them as we travel that way. Okay? Others? Yes? Sure. You know what? Talk to me and we'll make a plan. We'll make a plan. And if anybody else feels like you kind of fall into that category, we will make a plan for that. Just see me individually, okay? That's a great question. Any others? Yeah, where?
Over there.
Oh, yes.
Is it going to be a parent Facebook group like we did before?
We had nothing to do with that. If you started.
If a parent, I didn't even remember that we did that. So before, it sounds like there was a parent Facebook. Here, why don't you come up and talk? What? Tell me what it. Tell us what it was, and tell us about the new parent Facebook page that you're creating, Dusty. Give her a big round of applause. I have no idea what you're talking about.
So my son did this trip 4 years ago, and we had a parent Facebook group, and we did little reminders about pickups and stuff. And also parents who were there shared pictures that they took during the parade and videos and stuff.
Cool.
Just so everybody could kind of see what was going on.
So is somebody doing that?
I can do it.
Yay, Dusty said she would. Thank you, Dusty. Perfect. So the answer, Dusty, is yes. We do have that. You're doing it. Any other questions? Now you're really scared to ask a question, aren't you? You're scared you're going to get voluntold. Yes?
What are like all these 5 million forms due?
The sooner the better. So when are the forms due? The sooner the better, honestly, because here's the reality. We can't leave until I have these from everybody, so I need time to track people down and beg and plead, and then they'll forget, and then I need more time to beg and plead. So as soon as you can, it would just certainly make our lives easier so that we can go without any incident, okay? Anything else for the good of the cause?
If they're done today.
Yes? Reminder that always ongoing bingo, and we need those sign-ups the first Monday of every month, and then every Tuesday of the week. Yes, couldn't do it without them.
Any form's done, they can come bring it
If
to
you
us.
do have any forms completed right now and you'd like to turn those in before you leave, you're certainly welcome to. Yes? I don't know of anything, an additional card that you can take. I do know that, like, when I've gone with my family, I'll go to Target because, I don't know, my wife knows all this stuff. The red card, you get whatever percentage back. Help me out. Yeah. And we buy Disney cards to save some money. And so, yeah, you can totally do that. Yeah. I will also say for the parents that are going to be in the parks with the students, feel free to ride rides with them and hang out with them or make any sort of dining reservations. The key to that, though, is really you just have to adhere to our schedule. The problem is when people say, well, we're going to run and we're going to go do this family dinner. You've got to remember, it's not a family trip. It's this band trip. And then you start trying to text me and say, the dinner's running late, we won't be there. And then you miss the bus, and then you don't have transportation back. So you have to be very careful when you do that. But it is possible. It is possible. So families that are there that want to spend time together absolutely can do that. Okay? Anything else? Yes? Yes. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.